Hello, YouTube. We are back with another class guide, and today we will be looking at the champion. So we'll go over both red and yellow. Not going to go into blue. Uh, so if you're into blue line, I apologize. I haven't messed around with blue. I don't use it a whole lot. But yeah, so we'll look at red and yellow. We'll go over traceries, legacies, some traits, and then a little bit of a gear discussion in preps for Ostanoth that comes out in 1 week, 2 weeks, 2 weeks. Alrighty, so starting with yellow, or I guess just virtues in general, both the same for red and yellow. Essentially, for maximum morale, you'll want fidelity, loyalty, justice, honor, fortitude. As always, this just gives you the maximum amount of morale because you can never have too much morale. You're going to have more than enough mastery and might, so you won't need zeal because you're just losing stats by that point. If you need a little bit more tactical mitigation, then what you can do is either unslot fortitude for a little bit more tactical mitigations, and so you'll lose out on some morale that way. So if you'd rather have more morale and a bit more tactical mitigation, then you can just do you sacrifice justice instead of fortitude. So then you'll have a little bit more morale and a little bit more mits. So if you're low on mits, tolerance, and then just figure out which one you want to get rid of, whether it's fortitude or justice. If you're maxed on mitigations and you're happy about your morale, then you'll definitely want to just put in confidence for some more crit rating and a little bit of finesse. Determination will technically give you more crit overall, so if you want just pure crit, you could do determination in your fifth slot, but generally speaking, once you get enough gear, you should be okay on tactical mitigation for the most part once fully buffed, and you can just go for all the morale that you can. All right, looking at traits for yellow line, we're really only using it in like, well, you'd use it in warg pens, maybe, but I wouldn't even say you would use it in sword halls. Really, it'd be better. You're better off just going single target for the most part. And you don't need AoE in dungeons, and so you could do it for trash pulls and SG, I guess. But and trash pulls in the raid. But otherwise, you're going to be redline for the most part once again, as yellow line is just a little bit high or a little bit lower in comparison to red when it comes to boss fights. But this is the recommended build. If you wanted to use it for yellow or for leveling, you could remove the points out of more crit chance and put it into Blades of Courage for some healing. If you wanted more vitality while you're in yellow line, you could move the points from crit chance into the Stalwart Blade here to get more vitality. It's a decent amount of vitality, so it's not bad. But yeah, that's yellow line. Traits for legacies. Nothing has changed, so what you're going to want is Battle Frenzy cooldown, Fury of Blades, Raging Blades, I believe. Yeah, Raging Blades, and then is Blade Ward not in here? Might be in, or not general buffs, general damage. Blade Wall, there we go. So Blade Wall damage, and then yeah, Battle Frenzy, Fury, Raging, Battle Frenzy, Fury, Raging, yes, and yeah, that's 4, and Blade Wall, and then for your words of power, you'll obviously want area effect crits and area effect damage. For your Heldries, if you want more crit rating, you of course do Serpent or Sparrow. Sparrow will give you more vitality. Serpent will give you more damage and crit. If you're not worried about crit and you just want pure damage, then you have Lion or Ox. Ox giving you more vitality over might, and then Lion giving you more might over vitality. I would recommend Sparrow for now. I think Sparrow's better, and vitality is always, I think, superior over might in the long run. So, or damage or crit. So I would recommend Sparrow or Ox. But again, I always think getting more crit is better because it's easier to cap out on physical mastery. I will, as always, I will post the stat caps in the description, and you can take a look. There'll just be a drop-down menu, and you can, for Angmar or Mordor, so that you can see what the stat caps are. I think it's 3k for mastery and 3k for crit, and then it's like 2.2, I think, for mitigations. I think something like that. Yeah, I think it's around 2.2. 2.3, something like that. But yeah. And then words of craft would be you would want heroic precision. Get you that 3% crit chance, which is really good. Alright, that concludes yellow. We're going to move on to red. Gear, once we talk about gear after, will be the same for both specs. So if you're looking for gear for yellow, just go to the gear section. Alrighty, red line. We already talked about virtues. Virtues are the same. You want morale. If you need more mitigations, tolerance, swap out fortitude or justice. If you're fine on mitigations and morale, you always have determination for more crit, or confidence for crit and a bit more finesse to land abilities more. And you could swap out, again, justice or fortitude for those. About traceries for red. So for red line, once again, we're just keeping the same stuff from 60. So we will be using brutal strikes, ferocious strikes, remorseless strikes, and then wild attack. There it is. Wild attack damage. Even though we don't have the wild attack set bonus that we were getting at level 60, the legacy is still really good because it's, well, wild attack just does more damage than swift strike. So I know there some people like using swift strike, but I do think that the wild attack one is better as it gives you more damage, and wild attack just hits harder. All right. For words of power, you're just going to be using single target attack crits, single target attack damage. Words of craft, you'll be using heroic precision, 2 of those for the 3% crit chance. And then traceries, Sparrow for crit, or Ox for more fight for might, but you should be pretty close, if not already capped with mastery. So you'll just want to do Sparrow just for more crit rating, as agility will give you more crit in the long run. Because in case you didn't know, agility gives you, every point of agility gives you 3 crit rating, or no, 2 crit rating, sorry. But every point of might is only 1 point of crit rating, so it's 1-to-1 with might, but 1-to-2 for agility. So that's why if you ever want crit, you need to do agility. And then looking over traits quickly, basically at level 60, our trait tree looked something like this. ferocious, controlled burn. I think this all seems right. Oh, strike skills, we need that. Yeah, battle frenzy. So we said we got battle frenzy, and then we had 2 points remaining, and we put them in vitality, so we'd be at 42. So this is roughly what the tree looked like at level 60. So from here, I'm just putting more points into vitality for now, just because it's nice to have. We will want to go down into yellow in future level caps, so you could put points into might, or just get the blade skill damage if you really wanted to buff your blade wall damage. Eventually we'll get it, because we'll be able to get raging blades in red, but that's not till way in the future, higher level caps. But eventually we're gonna want to increase battle frenzy, so that's the goal after this expansion. But we can't quite get there just yet, right? We still need at least 2, 4, 6, 8. We'll need at least 12 more points. No, 20 more points to get down here. So again, way in the future. So for now, I'm just putting the points into vitality, and then I have 1 point left over. So just it's great in dungeons, and it's just nice with leveling. I'm putting the point into restore morale whenever a target dies. Apply on kill. And yeah, got to put the point somewhere, so that's really the only place to put it. You could do sprint cooldown if you really wanted to, but I mean, you're not sprinting in raid a whole lot. Ebbing Ire is useless. Hamstring, don't need that. I mean, if you're only soloing, you could put the one last point there and kite wraiths around. Don't need a point into Merciful Strike, because Merciful Strike does terrible damage for its cost. And yeah, so that's the point system. Now, when it comes to gear, for now, all we can do to prepare for Ost Dunoth is get the raid set, which is technically yellow line, but it does give us 5% melee damage with the 5 set bonus. So that's still really good. It is technically the yellow line set, but yeah, the 5% melee damage with the 5 set is still really good, and we'll want that for the Ost Dunoth raid that comes out in 2 weeks. And then you can get your red line set. In terms of other gear, basically just crafted stuff. If you have the Forge's Neck, you can still use that. That's really good because it's just more damage. If you're looking for more health, you may need to replace it. But the Brass Anvil is still really good. The pocket item from Enedwythe Reputation is good. There's a cloak that you can get that will give you a little bit more vitality from Enedwythe Rep as well. There is, in terms of instance loot, there's a ring that comes from SG Final Boss. There's the earring that comes from dungeons. There's a couple of cloaks that come from Sword Hall that are pretty good. And a good, like, kind of temporary tank necklace. I say tank because it has mitigations, but it's still really good to get, even in red and yellow line. And then there's, I think technically our best offhand right now comes from the raid. It's a random drop. It's got a lot of vitality and an insane amount of crit, so that's really good to have. And then there's like a necklace and some bracelets that come from the raid. But really, all of the best loot is still to come. This is all temporary stuff. So you're not going to really get anything from Warg Pens that you're going to want for the most part. So that's why I suggest Sword Hall for neck and cloak, Dungeons for an earring, and SG for a ring. And that'll kind of give you a couple of slots that you can fill up in between crafted pieces. And then if you are able to do the raid, the BG raid, then offhand comes from there, and a different kind of a different neck, and then a bracelet, and that will be your best piece of gear. Alrighty, so now we're gonna move on to a quick little tip with the champion. So I'll move over to a training dummy, and I'll see you in a second. Alrighty, quick little rotation tips with Redline. So for the most part, you're just going to ignore Feral Strikes. It is really only used for corruption removal. You use it while leveling, and then once you get all of your other skills, it becomes essentially useless because the damage output for the fervor cost is just not worth it. So that only leaves us now with Brutal Strikes, Remorseless Strikes, and Ferocious Strikes. And basically, you keep Ferocious Strikes on cooldown as much as you can. Spam Remorseless Strikes because it has such a low cooldown. And at any time you're over... you have so much fervor that you can't keep up with spending it. That's why Brutal Strikes is there. That's basically essentially it. You always, Brutal Strikes will also apply the deep wounds or deep strikes bleed, which of course you'll want to try to maintain when you can. But yeah, so a nice little quick little, and there's some animation canceling that you can take advantage with Redline. So we build up to Ferocious Strikes. And I'm going to use Ferocious Strikes into Battle Frenzy and immediately go into Remorseless Strikes. And then you throw in a Swift Strike or Wild Attack into Brutal. I like Swift Strike because it's a faster animation and I can continue kind of the chain of abilities. So that's the quick little tip. Obviously, you'll want, Controlled Bolt, Burn Up, and Champions Duel. Get your True Heroics up. You'll apply all your buffs, right, as you normally would. But this is just kind of an in the middle or just after the beginning of pull type thing that you want to do. So I'll do it one more time. So I technically wouldn't be at 5 fervor yet, so I would do Wild Attack, Swift Strike, get the Devastating Strike in to get the armor, and then Brutal, Ferocious, Ferocious, Battle Frenzy into Remorseless, and then Swift Strike into Brutal is kind of how that would work. And then I would just maintain all of my other buffs and abilities. So just keep spamming Ferocious, or Remorseless. Ferocious is back up, so use it. Brutal, Remorseless, it's on cooldown. Brutal Strikes. Ferocious is back up, use it. Remorseless, Brutal, Remorseless. Alright, so now Ferocious and Battle Frenzy are coming back up. Ferocious, Battle Frenzy, Remorseless into Brutal. It looks really quick, but it's just a fun little animation canceling. That's all that's happening. I'll slow it down this next rotation so that you can see exactly what buttons I'm hitting. But it is really quick, and I think that's the fun thing about Champion. And I'll pop all of the buffs too to show you the proper. We'll just wait for this to come. 10 more seconds. So we'd obviously still be kind of at you're gonna start at 0 fervor. But so true heroics, horn, controlled burn, swift strike, wild attack. Okay, so now ferocious. I then hit battle frenzy. I then go. Oh, there we go. It bugged out. Swift strike into brutal. So that's what it looks like slowed down. But when I sped it up, it's almost instantaneous. You can also use clobber to animation cancel, but clobber costs fervor, and that's why I don't like using it as much for an animation cancel. So even though Battle Frenzy is meant to give you fervor, it's a great ability to use to just cancel an animation. And you can do that in Yellow Line too, where you just use it to, like you could cancel Blade Wall or, whatchamacallit, like a Raging Blows type thing. So I'll show it one more time as just advanced animation. Okay. Ferocious, Battle Frenzy, Remorseless, Swift Strike into Brutal, back into Wild Attack, and then into Remorseless. Boom. Super fast, super quick, super fun to do. It's a lot of damage. Alrighty. And that's going to conclude the class guide for today. I should have I'm going to do the Guardian one next, and that'll probably be the last one that I do before the release of the next raid cluster in a couple weeks. And from there, I'll go back to Hunter and Captain, and then hopefully get some more classes out there for you. But yeah, as always, I will leave stat caps and gear links in the description below. The gear, so the names will be the same. The stats might not be updated. The LOTRO wiki doesn't always update the stats, so just keep that in mind. But the gear name will be the same, and where it drops is always the same. So you can at least still, what to aim for and what you're looking for. But yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like, leave a comment. If you enjoy Blue Line, tell me about Blue Line. I would love to hear your thoughts on Blue if you play a lot of Blue. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.